Steve Kim for UCN Live. I'm here with promoter extraordinaire Bob Arum. Bob, making your foray back to China. Big step for Zou Shiming fighting for the IBF flyweight title against I'm Not Ruin Wrong. When did you decide that his development had gone far enough that he could actually challenge for a world title?
Well, we met with Bruce Trampler, with Sean Gibbons, with Freddie, and they felt after studying film that he would be very competitive with I'm Not and could fight for a title.
His development is interesting. He's a two-time Olympian, world champion, gold medalist, but he is past the age of 30. How did you deal with that variable in terms of determining his development as a fighter?
Well, it meant that we had to put him on the fast track because obviously, as you said, we're not dealing with a 20-year-old fighter. We're dealing with somebody in his 30s. So if he wins the title, we still look for only 2 or 3 more years for him to fight.
Has he been everything you expected in terms of the popularity aspect? Has he been the big name you expected him to be in China?
Well, we didn't know what we were doing when we went in. We didn't know the Chinese market. We didn't know what to expect. So we are told that based on his popularity, the endorsements that he's getting, that it's been extraordinarily gratifying. That's how we measure it. I mean, otherwise we have no way to see if we're doing well or not. For us, it's a market that we're not really used to.
Speaking of which, you made a heavy commitment to Asia back about 2-3 years ago. Where do you stand now in terms of actually creating a real market in Asia?
I think we're doing well, but again, Steve, you talk about Asia like you talk about Europe. You know, it's France or Germany. Here it's China. So if the question is, you've thought about making a big market in China, I can answer the question because obviously we weren't thinking about Indonesia or Thailand or Korea, right? With all due respect. All right. So we have put up a gym in Shanghai with our partner Seika. We have done fights on the mainland, 2 in Shanghai. In April, we do another in Beijing. So it's not just Macau. Our plan is to go 4 times a year in Macau and 6 times a year on the mainland.
Bob, as we shift over just a little bit, you take a look at the situation. Are you Sergeant Schultz as it relates to Pacquiao, Mayweather? You know nothing.
I know nothing.
Bob, this is an interesting time in this.
By the way, is not far from the truth.
Right. Bob, with that said, is time running out to get that fight done for May 2nd?
I know nothing.
Okay. Bob, it was announced today, just about an hour ago, that CBS and Showtime are going into a multi-platform deal. They'll be doing boxing. This is an interesting time for the sport of boxing in terms of its overall landscape, isn't it?
Absolutely. And there'll be announcements from Top Rank as to our media partners for the rest of the year. It's going to be very interesting.
Was this in reaction to what's going on, or do you think that this was part of the natural evolution of Top Rank?
Natural evolution of Top Rank. We don't react. We're proactive, and we have been working on different platforms for a while.
Bob, I asked this of Oscar De La Hoya last week. Do you believe that there are certain entities that are trying to drive everybody else out of the business?
I don't look at it that way. I look at if somebody is having, as you put in one of your articles, a scorched earth policy, you build a firewall so you're not part of the scorched earth, and you do what you have to do to advance your corporate interests. That's what we're doing. And, you know, I'm not going to comment on what Heyman is doing or not doing. Whatever he's doing, he's doing. But we have some tremendous innovative plans that will be revealed this year in the months coming.
Bob, final question. I know you have a working relationship with Miguel Cotto for years, very tight. What can you tell us? What is the latest regarding him?
Well, Miguel is, luckily, unlike a lot of fighters, accumulated a lot of money. He doesn't brag about it, but he's a very wealthy guy, and he's been very careful with his money. So who will fight, whether he'll fight, is a decision not made by a guy who needs money. So it'll come when it comes. I think he'll probably fight in June. Who he fights will be determined in the next few days.
Okay. This is Steve Kim with Bob Arum for UCN Live.